नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्रयम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्तकाय त्रिकालाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। 10, verse number 10. नग्नो निस्सङ्गशुद्धस्त्रिगुणविरहितः ध्वस्तमोहान्धकारः नासाग्रे न्यस्तदृष्टिर्विदितभवगुणः नैव दृष्टः कदाचित् उन्मन्यावस्थया त्वां विगतकलिमलं शङ्करन्न स्मरामि क्षन्तव्यो मे पराधः शिव 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 भो श्रीमहादेव शम्भो। The human yearning, a universal human yearning, I would add, is to be limitless, is to feel that there is nobody cramping the style. There is no constrictions, time wise, space wise, resources wise. But that is not the everyday reality. The everyday reality, there is so many problems and so many ways in which one feels a sense of finitude. And living in the world, this is what it is. That's why one of the good things of the pandemic was everybody got to work from home, and this kind of people liked, because there was nobody breathing down the neck. And this, people enjoyed for some time. But that is not the whole thing. The sense of constriction, even though it's easy to point out that I feel confined because of this, that, or the other, because I have a bad boss, because I have a small house, because I do not get along with the spouse. So many reasons can be given. But that sense of constriction, even though one is convinced it is because of so many forces in the universe, because of so many causes, is actually centered on the sense of I. Wherever the I obtains, there is a discontentment. Once I went for a hike somewhere in coastal, where is that, California. Beautiful hike, and then you had to go early in the morning, and then you go to the top after a couple of hours, and then you see the ocean, you see everything. It was just very beautiful, and the air was soft, the sunrise was soft, the ocean was soft, and everything, the trees, everything was just so wonderful. I just sat down there to meditate and to take it all in. And I could hear behind me some rustling in the bushes and a family come making their way up to the site. And then, it was very clear from the conversation that I could hear that the mother, the woman, was the one who had initiated this trip. And she was rooting for everybody. Two very bored teenagers, boys, and the husband, an even bored husband. And then they all somehow trudged up out of breath. And then she said, She turned to the husband and said, "Honey, isn't this wonderful? Look at the sunrise, look at the ocean. Isn't this wonderful?" And the husband said, it could have been better. So, this itself shows what we are talking about here. It could have been, what is the it here? It is Bhagavan. Bhagavan is in the charge of the sunrise. And here he is even finding fault with the water, with the sun, with the scenery. Why? Because there is something here that one is unable to understand, unable to reckon with, unable to make peace with the sense of I. And when the sense of I, there is wherever there is a sense of I, when there is a sense of discontent and constriction, it's important to recognize that. And in Vedanta, we have a maxim: if something bothers you, it's not the other person, it's not the situation, it is you. In other words, you spot it, you got it. That is what it is. If you find fault with something, it is basically yourself alone. And this is not very evident to people who are not accustomed to any kind of even a rudimentary self inquiry. And so, therefore, here in the 10th verse, the author talks very beautifully about the about what one would like to be, what one would like to see oneself as. One would like to see oneself as nagnaha, authentic. Nagnaha means without clothes. Now, it is not that here we are taking that literally, that one is running around without clothes. But clothes here means, what is it that I masquerade as? What kind of masks do I put on? What kind of faces do I have? A public face, a private face, an in between face. And what is it that needs to come down in order to overcome this inner duality, which is the cause of pain and sorrow? The inner duality means that there is a manifest universe. This is the meaning of inner duality. There is a manifest universe, no doubt, and there are things that I have to relate to. But then there is a manifest inner universe of my own impressions, my pains, my sorrows, my raga, dvesha, my desires, my prejudices. And that inner universe is projected over to Bhagavan's universe. There is Bhagavan's universe and my own personal private universe that is overlaid on Bhagavan's universe. And this is the cause of pain and sorrow. That is what we mean by inner duality. And we see this clearly in the Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna is unable to see that this is a war of dharma, that these people who are dictators, basically tyrants, must be stopped. Even though they may be his brothers, cousins, uncles, whatever they must be stopped. For the service of humanity, such people should not be allowed to keep on staking their claim. And he's unable to see that because of his own inner projection of how important they are to him. And like this, everybody has a double universe. One universe, Ishvara's world of names and forms. It is what it is. And then the other one is called Jiva Srishti. Ishvara's Srishti, Ishvara's manifestation, and Jiva Srishti, Jiva's manifestation. And so the Jiva, not to be outdone, says, I also am going to have this. I also am going to do this thing where I can also project. And that projection of one's own subjectivity is the cause of pain and sorrow, is what led that man, the husband who was on the hike, to even say that, there could have been a better sunrise, there could have been a better ocean, there could have been a better hike. Because the sense that sorrow is centered on the self and it is very powerfully projected outside. And so, whatever one sees and wherever one goes, the discontent is recognized outside, even though it stems from within oneself. And if you ask even the most discontented person, what is it that you would like to be? They will definitely say, I want to be happy. I want to be contented. I want to be able to see the best of everything. I don't want to be in pain. I don't want to be yelling at people that I love, screaming at them. I don't want to be dissatisfied. I don't want to be keeping on seeking something or the other and feeling disappointed. I want to stop seeking. I want to be with myself, happy, whole, contented. Anybody would say that. And then that, all those attributes, all those qualities that I want to be, the Lord already is. That is the teaching here. That which we call the Lord, the Goddess, is already that what I want to be. And so here we have a nice glimpse of how we should pray. We should pray to Lord Shiva in this case. We should pray to Lord Shiva as a manifestation of who I want to be, as a flawless manifestation of who I want to be. Very beautiful. So the first word is Nagnaha, and we've already seen that authentic, not having this double life and this double kind of existence. And then Nissangaha, uninvolved. What is the Jiva? Jiva is always too much involved in everything. Everybody's business becomes my business. And one likes to micromanage everything in life. And one has inability to delegate. One, because there is inability to trust, so there is inability to delegate. One becomes a micromanager all the time, being on top of somebody else. Did you do this? This is how it should be done. No, 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 I should do this. And like this. So, and nissangaha also means unaffected by other people's stuff. This is also a very important teaching here, because this is what one wants to be. One doesn't want to have pain when somebody else is having pain, and we must be able to see that this is their issue. And if we are able to see that, we are able to help them better than getting involved with it. And then also, there is a little bit of an inner space, which we have talked about earlier, from one's own pains and sorrows, that the these are just the mind and the senses doing whatever they are doing. I, the Atma, is not affected. This kind of a Nissanga. And here we are visualizing Ishvara, Lord Shiva, as Nissanga. And then Shuddha. Shuddha means free of omissions and commissions, free of guilt and hurt, free of papa and punya, Shuddha. Nothing touches, like a lotus leaf, like a lotus petal. The lotus petal has some kind of small hairs on it. So even if you throw some mud or some sludgy stuff, it doesn't stick, it just washes away. And many people don't know, have not seen a lotus. So the modern example is Teflon. Okay, yeah. So non-stick. There are all kinds of non-stick cookware, and then even the stickiest thing you put on it, it doesn't stick. It easily comes off, like that. So one, that is the truth of oneself. But that is not how I see myself right now. So therefore, oh Lord, it is easier for me to see you as this rather than see myself as this. So all my wants, this is also a blatant projection. All the things that I want for myself, I project onto you. But here this projection is safe, because what you project is what the Lord already is. So it's a very safe projection. So then Shuddha, Triguna Virahitaha, free of the spell of the gunas. Arjuna is told in the Bhagavad Gita, Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha Nistraigунयो Bhavarjuna Nirdvandvo Nitya Satvasthaha. And this is, he says, Lord Krishna says, the whole universe, which the Veda speaks about, is under the spate of the three gunas. And what are these gunas? This is, the influence of the goddess in the process of creation. Goddess Shakti, Maya Shakti, she has a palette of three colors. Satwa, which is Shuddha, free. Rajas, the aspect of movement in balance. And when it is out of balance, it manifests as restlessness, anger. Then Tamas, which is the principle of stillness in balance. But when it is out of balance, then it manifests as apathy, depression, resentment, and too much sleep, things like that, inactivity. So this is the every single thing, even the Veda and things that it mentions, the whole universe has come under the spell of the three gunas. Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha. And so, if everybody is under the spate of the three gunas, then we would not be having this conversation. But the possibility of overcoming these gunas is there. And that is why Arjuna is told, Nistraigunyo Bhava. Be the one for whom these three gunas do not affect. How to do that when the whole world is under that spell? And when I see the body under the spell of Rajas and Tamas, sometimes I cannot sit properly, sometimes I'm not able to get up. And so the body is under the spell of Rajas and Tamas, and the mind, of course, is under the spell of Rajas and Tamas. I see these changes, and how can I be free of the gunas? That is because it is very clear here that one is not the sum total of one's body, mind, or senses. That indweller, the one who abides in the body mind complex, which is subject to the gunas, is free of all the gunas. And that is why how to do that is given in the second line. Nirdvandvo bhava. Nirdvandvo bhava, we have already talked about. Be the one who is ready to dismantle this inner world of raga dveshas, this inner projection, for which the raw material is discontent, sorrow, and wants. Be the one who is ready to dismantle that. Nirdvandvo bhava. And then Nitya Satvastho bhava. Out of these three gunas, the Sattva is the most clear, most godlike godliness, because it has qualities such as compassion, love, all these things. And so, to get free of the other two limiting gunas, one remains in Sattva as much as possible. Sattva, being in Sattva is the key to eliminating the effect of the other two gunas, of becoming, inviting a kind of a inner detox and purification. And if one is worried, if you are worried, oh, maybe I'll get addicted to Sattva, how to get rid of Sattva? Because after all, Lord Krishna says all the three gunas, are binding and you have to get out of Sattva too. Well, that is not a worry, thankfully, that one has to have, because that Sattva is very close to who one already is, who one wants to be. So it just integrates into the I effortlessly and easily. So there is nothing to get rid of. We talk about the Sattva Guna as, what is that example given? Harishchandra Danda. Harishchandra was a king in the Puranic king. So What happened to him? He was tested by the gods, and he was made to undergo terrible tests. So from a king, he was reduced to being a funeral groundskeeper, because he was told, he was known in the world as someone who never gives up truth. And so his truth ability to live in this truth was terribly tested in this story, and then he ends up minding the funeral grounds. And what is one has to do? I mean, usually the relatives will pray over the body, put it on the flames, and after the mantras are done, they go home. And then the body has to be tended. And there are certain gases in the body, it almost jumps out of the fire sometimes. And then it has to be pushed back with a stick. That is what is called Harishchandra Danda, the stick with which you push the body back. And after the body is pushed back into the fire with a stick, what does one do with a stick? You throw the stick also into the fire. So that Sattva Guna is like Harishchandra Danda. With that, you prod and you make sure that the Rajas and Tamas are burnt to ashes, and then that Sattva, which is the aid, is also integrated into what one naturally is. Nirdvandvo bhava, nitya sattvastho bhava. And then very important, niryoga kshemo bhava. Niryoga kshemaha. Yoga is not here. Here, the meaning of yoga is not asanas or this path of yoga. Yoga has a technical meaning. Yoga and kshema, when they are used together, they mean certain kinds of desires. Yoga means apraptasya prapanam, the gain of what I don't yet have. This is called yoga. And kshema means praptasya rakshanam, the protection of what I already have. These two pursuits, not gaining what I feel like I don't have and protecting what I have, become the pursuits of the human being, time consuming pursuits. Yoga Kshema pursuits are extremely time consuming, because from day to night, from year to year, day to day, month to month, year to year, in other words, how do they put it in the modern way? 24/7, 365. This is the consuming pursuit. How to avoid what I don't want? How to keep at bay what I don't want? How to get what I want, how to protect other people from taking away what I already have. Other people includes time also. So how to protect what I already have, how to get rid of what I don't want, how to keep at bay what I don't want, how to prevent getting what I don't want, and how to uh, pursue what I really want. This becomes the human, the human being is consumed with this. The human obsession, the universal human obsession is this kind of a life. What a waste! All the time. Because why is it a waste? I mean, if you could really get what you want all the time, or even half of the time, and if you could protect what you already have at least half of the time, then this pursuit is worthwhile. But nobody can do that. You cannot do that. You are not in charge of the results of action. You cannot produce what you want. You cannot keep at bay what you don't want. Much less can you protect what you already want and what you already have. So, this is a useless pursuit. The yoga kshema pursuit is a pursuit that is done from fear, from insecurity, from not able to have priority. The priorities are not in place, not able to have discriminative enquiry. Such a person only is consumed by yoga kshema pursuits, says the Bhagavad Gita. And where does this word yoga kshema come from? It is borrowed from the Kathopanishad, upon which the Bhagavad Gita is based. In the Kathopanishad also, this yoga and kshema are talked about. And there, Lord Yama tells Nachiketa that it looks like there are two kinds of pursuits. One is called Shreyas, glorious, ultimate, the pursuit of yourself, the pursuit of Bhagavan as the truth of yourself, pursuit of moksha, in other words, is called Shreyas. And what is the other one is called? Preyas. And what does prayers means? Please pray for us. That's all it is. Because no other hope if you choose prayers. Prayers is the default choice. Prayers means the pursuit of that which is pleasing, finite, yoga kshema pursuits. Mando preyah yoga kshemad vrinite. Vrinite chooses. The manda. Manda means the one who is dull. Under the spate of these gunas that we talked about, especially rajas and tamas, not uh, not having the ability to make the correct choice, not able to choose what is really fulfilling, always makes the wrong choice. And mandaha yoga kshemat, because of the helplessness of yoga and kshema, because of that pressure of yoga kshema pursuits, i.e., protecting what one has and preventing the acquisition of what one doesn't want. These are yoga kshema pursuits, and that makes one choose wrong things in life. And so, therefore, niryoga kshemo bhava. Give up, O Arjuna, these yoga kshema pursuits if you want to be free of the gunas. What is the connection of the gunas to the yoga kshema pursuits? Well, it is very obvious that the more one is nurturing these raga dveshas, the strong prejudices and preferences, which are the raw materials for this pursuit, the more one is nurturing them, watering them, the more one is in fear, resentment, insecurity. One is nurturing those kinds of things. So therefore, the getting some inner space from the yoga kshema pursuits, dropping the yoga kshema pursuits is key to this kind of a growth. Elsewhere also, in the midpoint, in the middle of the ninth chapter in the Bhagavad Gita, very famous verse, Lord Krishna promises for those who dedicate their life to the enquiry of myself as the truth of them, who have ananya bhakti. Ananya bhakti means that the devotion from a place of oneness. He promises for such people who are completely contemplative and who are only consumed by how to recognize me as the truth of them. For those who have given their lives to these pursuits, I will carry their yoga and kshema. Yoga kshemam vahami aham. अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जनाः पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्. It's a very comforting verse. It's a promise given by the Lord. Why are you carrying something which is my job and then saying that this burden is too much? Like that lady that was there when the suburban trains were first introduced in Mumbai. A lot of vegetable sellers used to get on big baskets, huge baskets, and full of vegetables, and they would use the train. There were some a few compartments just for vegetables and everything for the sellers in the rear of the train, and then they would climb into the train and then go to the next place to sell the vegetables. And so one day this lady got on, the story goes, with a basket, along with a basket. And then the train took off from the station, and everybody around her said, please, she was an elderly lady, mother, let's help you put this down. She says, no, 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 no. I don't want to burden the train. I want to just continue holding it. It's like that. Why are you holding something that is already being carried? Bhagavan is in charge of the results of action. Bhagavan is giving you what you want already there. Maybe not what you want, definitely what you need is being given. It is already there. It is being given every day. Every day is a blessing. Every day is a potential for growth. Every day is a potential for gratitude. And so when we see all the things that are already given, starting with this body, the ability to breathe, the ability to enjoy all this wonderful manifest universe, what else is there to want? And even if there are some strong wants, we lay it at the feet of Bhagavan and say, I know that you are carrying this. Please continue to carry this and disabuse me of the notion that I am the agent of action and I am the carrier of all my raga and dveshas and these kinds of pursuits. This is how to grow into sattva and grow out of the vice grip of rajas and tamas. And so we visualize the Lord as the truth of oneself, as the indweller that is not yet seen. Why is not yet seen? It's going to be talked about. Naiva drishtaha. Not yet seen because two things. One is the Lord is not an object to be seen by the eyes, etc., by the sense organs. And the second thing is that even though Bhagavan Ishvara is sitting right in the heart, the inability to recognize that is due to the eclipse of these gunas, due to the eclipse of raga, dvesha, painful load of wants, sorrows, pains, fears, tears, all these things. Because of that alone, it cannot be recognized. And then, therefore, the next line, the next compound says, I visualize you, O Lord, as dhvasta mohandhakara. Andhakara, darkness, ignorance. Dhvasta, burnt. Moha, delusion. So the delusion that is the ignorance is burnt. From whom? This is all light. The eclipse has gone. The cataract in the vision, may it also drop in looking at you, O Lord, who is all light. That is the prayer. And so I look at you from the standpoint of the one who has dropped all kinds of fears, pains, sorrows, everything. And then the one who is totally self absorbed in a nice way, okay? Yeah, self absorbed means the one who is totally one with oneself. And and if you see the pictures of Lord Shiva meditates upon himself really. The eyes are uh, eyes are directed towards the tip of the nose and completely unmoved by what is happening outside, in a state of samadhi. Samadhi means union. So in a state of union, there is no division. There is nothing other than oneself. That is you, O Lord. May my invocation of you in this manner lead me close to the truth of myself, the ruler of the heart. Show me who you are. Show me above all that you are not other than myself. More we'll see in the evening. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. Thank you.
We would like to thank very much Swamini Svatmavidyananda. Let's give her a big hand. And today she again is going to offer a Q&A session from 12 to 1:30 in the garden platform. So you're most welcome to come and bring your questions, and there'll be more time for discussion. And in the evening satsang, she will continue the teachings from the scripture. So the schedule for today, we have yoga classes at 8, beginners on the Bay West platform and intermediate on the beach platform. We have brunch at 9:45, at 11 the ashram welcome and history tour, living from reception. At 12 the workshop with Swamini Svatmavidyananda. At 4 afternoon yoga classes, same locations like in the morning. 5:45 dinner. 7 Gita Parayana, chanting one chapter from the Bhagavad Gita in Sanskrit, followed by a short study in the main temple. The Hanuman Chalisa tonight from 7 to 7:30. And at 8 we have evening satsang, and we continue the teachings with Swamini Svatmavidyananda. And in terms of some upcoming programs at the ashram, on Monday night we have a big celebration, the Mahashivaratri. So it's an all-night celebration for Lord Shiva, and there will be many rituals with the priest and chanting, and it will be also broadcasted on Zoom. And it's very auspicious night, so you're most welcome to join. And following that, we have a few presentations that will be offered virtually with some wonderful guest presenters. On March 1st, we have Menas Kafados, Dr. Menas Kafados, who will speak about a unified view of the world, lessons from Lord Shiva and quantum mechanics. So he's a quantum physicist, a professor, but also a follower of Kashmir Shaivism. And he will offer this talk on March 1st. And then March 3rd to 4th, we have a program with Dr. Deepak Chopra and Dr. Menas Kafados. And they will speak about the nature of reality, perspectives from science and the non-dual traditions. And also this will be offered live, but via Zoom. And then on March 5th, we start a new yoga teacher training course that will be offered at the ashram, but also online. So this is a 1-month immersion into the yoga practice and study. And you're most welcome to join on site or online. Now we're going to conclude with the final prayers and the arati.
We'll do the short version of the final prayers, page 98. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, peace, peace, peace. O adorable Lord, mercy and love, let us abide in Thee forever and ever. Om Bolo Sadguru Shivananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Bolo Shri Guru Vishnu Devananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Please stand up. Do the arati. You can follow on page 118. Om Jai Jarati Vinna Vinayaka Vinna Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jai Jarati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jai Jarati Venugopala Venugopala Venulola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jai Jarati Venkataramana Venkataramana Sangataharana Sitaramma Radhe Shyama Jai Jarati Gauri Manohara Gauri Manohara Bhavani Shankara Samba Sada Shiva Uma Maheshwara Jai Jarati Rajarajeshwari Rajarajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jai Jarati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumantaha Jai Jarati Datatreya Datatreya Trimurti Avatara Jai Jarati Adityaya Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jai Jarati Shanishwaraya Shanishwaraya Bhaskaraya Jai Jarati Shankaracharya Garacharya Advaita Gurave Jai Jarati Sangurunata Sangurunata Shivananda Jai Jarati Vishnudevananda 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 Jai Jarati Agastya Munaye Agastya Munaye Shirama Priyaye Jai Jarati Ayapa Swami Ayapa Swami Dharma Shastave Jai Jarati Jesus Gurave Moses Gurave Buddha Gurave Jai Jarati Muhammad Gurave Guru Nana Gurave Samasarbhyo Namaha Jai Jarati Venugopala Om na tatra suryo bhati na chandatarakam nema vidyota bandikato yamagnihi tameva namanavati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvindam vibhati Om Gange Chayamune Chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Namastabhyam Namo Namaha Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Bandhu Saka Tvamevam Tvameva Vidya Dravinan Tvameva Tvameva Sarva Mama Deva Devam Kayena Vacha Manasindriyarava Mudyan Manava Prakrite Swabhavan Karomi Adiyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanai Tisamarapayami Sarvadharmam Perityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tva Sarvapapebhyo Moksha Ishami Masucha. So thank you everybody at home for joining us for this beautiful morning satsang. Have a great day. And everybody here, please help us in clearing up the satsang hall. Have a beautiful day. Om Tat Sat.